I said, around 2. I've never said right at 2.
That's true.
I've never said punctually at 2. These people understand we're more like a dog. Okay. One dog, now confirmed. That's the same one. We've never lied. We never told them anything wrong. Around 2 o'clock, and we're here. Finch and Thom back. Thanks again for joining us for Finch and Thom's Untitled Talk Show.
It's us, Finch and Thom.
That's right.
It's Finch and I'm Thom.
That's the order.
This is our show.
I'm the Jay-Z, you're the Kanye.
I'm the Rihanna.
Nope. He's the Kanye and he knows it.
I'm definitely the Rihanna.
I appreciate Toli stepping in for us last time. I think, Thom, you were back in your hometown, right? Taking a nice, well-earned, I believe your first ever time off or anything like that in the time you've been here. So
Yes.
I appreciate. No, I'm not even trolling. Yes,
Yes.
I'm glad that you got to spend some time at home, my man. Glad to have you back as well. A lot to talk about. Again, !YouTube in my chat. If you want to see where I'm putting up the videos at the end of the chat, all the past ones are there too. If you want to get caught up, it's just Finch on YouTube. But a lot to go over because placements are kind of the big thing, right? They're just a couple weeks away.
Yep.
All the teams who aren't the best are battling it out in a real bloodbath down there. It is scary. We'll go through what all the placements mean, who they're going up against. I guess we can give our first round predictions. We don't need to go all the way through or anything like that. We can probably have time to do that right up ahead before it starts. But
You should be really proud of me. I didn't interrupt you when you said the best or scary.
you've been doing good. You've been doing really good throughout this intro. I think it's because you're even more tired than normal.
Nah.
I think that's what it is.
Nah.
No? You're just ready to go. Well, I'm going to go over all the standings, talk about what each spot means. I like that your notifs are on.
Thanks,
That's a
bro.
big play.
Oh, my headphone. No.
He is very popular, though. That's been made abundantly clear. But we'll go through where everyone's placement is, the standings,
mustard, please.
what all those spots end up meaning for who they're going to be playing up against, like what the first matchups are. I have the back half of fall split stats too, so like week 4 through 6, kind of like the momentum they have built up, which I thought could be pretty interesting. We'll talk about Hera. We'll go through that kid as well. Thom, mute them.
Remember the conversation, dude?
Right, mute them. What do you do? What is this?
I wish I could make my
We can talk about the
notifications
SML as well
more.
too, because I think Johnny is confirmed not going to be playing for them, which is a big deal. We'll get to that all at the end. It's a bummer. We'll definitely talk about it, so don't worry. Or not at the end. We'll get to it when those matches come up, for sure.
I'm actually mad about that.
Well, let's start over in EU. So the first seed from EU was Dignitas, pretty clearly. I think that's what we all expected. Hey, what's up, Sammy Bly? Go sub to Finch Dudes. Thanks, Adam Mills. Do that. He's very right.
Also me.
Well, he's talking about my YouTube channel.
But look at this. Oh, yeah, do that. But look at this dog.
That's a very cute dog.
He's wearing a Yankee hat. Severn, you're the man.
But Digger the first seed on that one. Oh man, I look like I got a mess.
You look normal.
Thanks. Digger the first seed. That means they get the bye right into DreamHack, so they don't have to play anybody in these placement stages. You can take a look and see the standings right here for the entirety of EU. James is doing a good job. Get everything up on the screen. SK stay winless. I'm not laughing about SK. Something else happened. Sorry about that. It was bad timing.
What
But
happened?
it's very important, I think, that Dig and these standings aren't exactly right. I believe Energy are above Obey. But it's Energy and Dig who went through, and Obey are third place. Even though they do have a record tie, Energy definitely would be the ones that made it through. But,
Oof.
But
That's an oof.
well, we do it. I think we do it alphabetically when there's ties. That's not even true. O would come before N, or N would come before O. We don't do that. I don't know why it's like that.
LMNOP.
Yeah, I don't know why it's like that.
QRS.
Yeah.
TUVWXYZ. You know, the interesting thing about the last part of the alphabet is that usually when you're looking at a telephone numpad, all of the letters are in 3-letter clusters.
Except the bottom one is 4.
WXYZ.
Let's talk about how important this buy is, that you don't have to go into the placement stages, right? Because that's where Dignitas is.
That's stupid important.
And the reason why I say so is because Dignitas on the back half weren't that great. 3-2 for like the last time through the gauntlet, essentially playing each member in the ESPL. They were 3-2, so they're not coming in like unbeatable. They're not coming in exceptionally hot. I think getting some time to take that break to kind of go through any of the changes in the meta, because they're going to be on what 5-18, 5-19 for that.
Yes.
So we haven't even
520 is what Worlds will be playing.
Worlds 520, and I think placements might be one before that, but we'll certainly see. But they'll be
5th through the 10th.
the 5th through the 10th is when it's going to be. So they're not going to be on any patch we've seen them play on live for sure. So there's definitely going to be some changes. So I think for a team like Dig in particular, getting that time is huge.
Yeah, I guess it's pretty huge. Really, what I think it is just people want to talk about games played and staying hot and warmed up, and people want to talk about changes in the meta and being able to adapt to it.
Yeah, that was me. That was all in my intro.
Well, there are what I'm saying is there are many like really different conversations to come at this from. Frankly, I think that none of that is There's an entire stage where you can go home. And they've skipped that.
Yes.
That is the biggest possible.
At any moment.
Yeah. No. When you come up to World, if the conversation is like A team is warmer because they played in placements and that's an advantage, I will, in very rare cases, buy that. I mean, you're a team that just went, okay, so there's 2 pages to this test. What if I automatically get 100 on the first one and just do the second one? Are you ever going to be like, man, I really want to ramp up to the second part of the
There
exam?
is an argument to be made for sometimes questions early on in a test give you hints about questions later. You know what I mean? Because you test on different pieces. Yes, you're right. I think you're right. I'm just saying there's some argument to be made.
Well, you could
for actually going through the process.
because you have your page 2 and you're like, huh. That was all the answer to page 1. I see where the questions led me, and that's what you're doing with the tournament. You're like, huh. I'm watching all you little plebs down there play against good on my level and all this nonsense.
We'll talk about that matchup.
And then you're able to do it. I mean, Mouse get on my level might be something real.
Now, yeah, it definitely could be some good matches there. Now, this is, of course, the actual placement stage. Energy, Dig, as well as United Splyce are going to be able to go right past this. But yeah, everyone else going to be down here in this.
I'm so fucking mad Kliz and his team lost, bro.
Yeah, dude, no ping is going to be here. We'll talk about them too. Why do you want to jump out of order so badly?
I'm looking because I'm mad, dude. I'm mad, dude. I think that Black Dragons could beat SK and then
I think no ping
beat
could
Space
beat
Station.
What are you talking about?
You think no ping is better than Black Dragons to split?
They beat them.
That doesn't always mean that.
Yes, they're maybe not better against other people or whatever happens.
The best team doesn't necessarily.
And I think that's a good question here. Do you think Dignitas? I know they're the first seed, but are they, for that exact conversation, the first seed? Are they the team to beat? Do you think going into this event?
Yes.
Really?
They've
been looking a little weak in the back.
I took a week or 2 off the Dignitas hype train. And I got right back on. I'm wearing black and yellow. I'm all about Team Dignitas, man. No, I'm totally buying back in. I know I said before that they had blown it and they had lost my confidence and that I wasn't into them anymore. But then they started winning again. They sent me a good morning text. They just did the right things and Finch, they won me back.
Yeah, got you. Well, I mean,
I'm excited going into this land.
I did the interview with Trix, and I think he took a little bit of exception when I said they hadn't looked the best at LAN because they have some second place finishes which are very good. We don't want to undervalue
That's
that.
fair.
But I think my expectations for Dignitas going into almost every LAN they've ever been in since Valencia or DreamHack Valencia, right, is that they were the best team.
Yeah.
They were the best team online. No one's looked better than them. Now do it when it matters. And I don't think that they've been able to be the best when it mattered, which is the barometer here. If they want second place at Worlds, then yes, they've been fine.
I agree.
If they want first, then they haven't. And that's my point.
I agree.
Yes.
I agree.
I don't know.
I think that their performance coming in here, bread, mayo, mozzarella, should have.
Tom, I think you have a lot of time to get groceries. I imagine you have all of the day.
Well, my friend is there. It's.
Oh, I see.
So.
What up, Hi Hawk? Thanks.
What was I saying?
You were saying that you agree that they've
Yes,
been
I agree with all of
LAN.
Dignitas' misfortunes and bad performances, but watching their performance towards the end of the fall split gear up into this LAN period, I think that they are hotter than they have been in the past, and I think that Zero's only loses so many times.
Yeah.
I think that I think that this is Dignitas' go. Energy will be their biggest speed bump, so to speak.
Yes.
But I definitely think that this is.
I think that it is either Energy or Dig if we're saying a team to beat, right?
Yes.
And Dignitas are going to the LAN, but I think a huge advantage is that you have to auto-ban Morrigan against them.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have a choice.
Yeah.
That's going to be huge going into LAN. I mean, especially if Pele's value continues to rise. In EU, she's still a bit understated, I think, but in North America, she's a big deal. The more of these picks that you kind of have to let through because you literally can't let him play a certain god, Dignitas gets scarier because of that. But you mentioned Energy. That's the other team out of EU that's getting the bye right in DreamHack. And they are coming in very hot. They're 4-1
stupid
in the back half of the split. I believe They've been looking very, very good, like their old selves. I think, for my money, Energy is the team to beat. I know they're second, but I think that they carry the weight of first seed when you're up against them.
I do agree, and I think that we actually have. I think we have a tournament where it's going to be those two teams.
Yeah.
I think United is maybe a step behind.
Like
absolutely.
1A, 1B between those two? Like,
yeah, exactly. I think that the conversation, I think the easy conversation is 1A, 1B, 3 top teams, right?
Oh, you think United are that close with them?
I think that's the easier conversation.
Sure.
But I think at the core that absolutely we have Energy and Dignitas, who are the two top teams to beat that are arguably at the same level. And Energy has the LAN performance, so I would put them above Dignitas despite my own personal hype train.
Right.
And then United, I think, is a step behind, but certainly capable.
I think so too. I think United are in that conversation. In all honesty, I know I saw a Splyce Omega lull in chat, but I think Splyce are in that conversation too. And we're going to talk about each of the teams individual a little bit, so we'll definitely make sure we get to all the matchups. But I kind of want to get into the actual placement stage bracket a little bit. So we go to just third place in EU. That's Obey. They got and third place is very important because you actually get a first round bye within the placements themselves.
Right.
Third place from EU and third place from NA both get to kind of watch first. That was Obey, I believe, that got third place. So that means they'll go up against the winner of either LG or LATAM. That's like that fight that leads into this Obey team. And Obey's another team I'm worried about. Or I would be worried about if I was in this event. You wouldn't be worried about placing them? They're 4-1 in the back half of the fall split. They only lost once. They're on a huge roll right now. It's insane.
I don't see it. I
right.
don't have faith in Obey. I think that their performance is lopsided into one sort of tactic. Obey are going to look to feed Pretty Prime, and that is how they win, and that's not a knock against them, but I think that they have been figured out at this point in time. I think it's very easy to see that this team is done it. This is how they win, and you can sort of plan for that and stop that.
Well, and that's my point. So I don't think Obey are worlds or winners of worlds contenders necessarily, unless they get really hot. I definitely would put United and Splyce and Energy.
Oh,
and
holy
Dig ahead of
shit!
them.
But look at the bracket.
What do you mean?
So Obey's going to be Luminosity or LATAM.
Right, and it might even be LATAM. I really think it might be Nocturnes. There's a good chance it's Nocturnes.
I agree. Obey and Nocturnes might be close, but I think Obey does win.
Right.
And then you wind up in round 3. Trifecta, Mouse, get on my level. That's going to be...
That is the other... that is EU SML, by the way, in that TBD spot. So we don't know yet. Those matchups are happening, I believe, Tuesday and Wednesday.
Who cares?
Yeah? You don't think
cares?
Insignum or Insignum or the Poppies? I think Octopus Gang might be out. But you don't think Insignum maybe could run with Trifecta even a little bit?
I mean, no. I mean, 2 and 3... Insignum can win. That's cool. Who cares? Now you have Insignum or Trifecta versus Mouse or Get on My Level. Who cares? Because everyone in that bracket is going to lose to Obey. Obey are going to.
I don't know if they
would
would stomp Mouse. I don't think they would stomp Mouse at all. And this is, by the way, a double elim, I believe, as well. So there is going to be a lower bracket that'll obviously get filled out once you get closer to it.
I think Obey are on the fucking 5 train. I think they're just going right there. Easy peasy, semifinals. Not because they're a great team, but because
they're in a weak bracket for sure.
They're in a weak bracket.
They definitely got a good chance. But here's what I would say is that because it is double elim, 4 teams making it out of this spot. I don't even know how particularly easy your bracket needs to be for relevance, right?
Sure.
You can always fight your way back to the lower bracket. But I think there's a good point. I think this Obey team is certainly strong. I think the bracket certainly helps them as well. I think Nocturnes gives them a good run for their money and certainly could make some noise in that lower bracket as well because that's who they'll be fighting. So I want to use this opportunity to talk a little bit about LATAM if we could as well because it is going to be between Nocturnes and then the LATAM North representative, which I don't have written down here. Lodo. I'm sorry, I do have it written down here. Lodo is the one that they'd be up against potentially. I think Nocturnes have a real chance to cause some problems down in there too. They've had so much experience playing at LAN, and it's not just at LAN. Every time they show up, they're playing like a top 4 team in the world, and they look good.
If Nocturnes beats Obey, then Nocturnes is going semifinals.
Yes.
Which is
insanity. You know?
I mean, that's really exciting to me. I really do like watching that team, so I'm down.
I think they absolutely could be strong. I'm very much looking forward to their run through the bracket. And then we can also talk a little bit about the SML too, because that's who Rival's going to be up against in their next matchup. Let's talk a little bit about Obey. Rival in the 4th seed. I guess before we go to SML, let's talk a little bit about Rival, because Rival they've been struggling. They're 2-3 in the back half of the split. I'm doing everybody's last 5 matchups against everybody else. And Rival have not looked hot in particular. And everyone keeps asking me what the problem is. And I know I keep saying Wolfie, and I don't want to put everything at his feet, but if there is a problem on that team, it looks like it might be mental. I don't think that they're bad. I don't think they've gotten worse mechanically. I think they're making worse decisions. Their pick spans don't look as good as what they used to as well. That, to me, makes me think it might be a mental thing.
Well, I sort of approached this issue looking at it as a team where this team was very successful. Basically, my old thesis was that this team was very successful as a unit, right? The whole 5-man Smite, the whole San Antonio Spurs type deal, no true, like Michael Jordan. And then watching them sort of succeed, they were able to find a lot of success, come really close, and then they have like a moment where they go, okay, well, Ice is going to be our superstar, or Deathwalker is going to be our superstar. And they start playing like a regular traditional team, and that didn't really work out for them. Now we see what we go back to reality, and they're able to succeed. I don't think the difference is in approach to the game. I think the difference is simply performance and
Sure.
how you have to reflect from that. And it's a roundabout way of saying that Wolfie has not performed, and the team found Band-Aid ways to fix that. And if the Band-Aids are there, then I don't think it's going to work out like that. They need to really all be playing up on top. Thank you, Mallory. Mallory just brought me lunch.
Yeah, she set your pub sub down.
I thought she was going to put it under the door.
And no, pub subs are thick, my dude.
Yeah.
They stack that meat up high.
Yeah.
I don't mind doing a pub sub endorsement right here, right now, in the middle of our discussion about Rival. They're
Well,
good.
I'm not paid by them. I'm not going to eat that on camera. I think it'd be a little much. But I'm going to think about it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
It's nice to find out live on air that is a thing. I'm glad
what?
to hear it.
What?
That we could go too far, and you are aware of it.
I mean, I am kind of hungry.
I just give you a hard time. I'm just
I could just eat the sub.
don't do it. That's not what I'm trying to lean
I thought
into
you
by
were
any
trying-
means.
you
No,
were
no,
trying
no.
to get me to do that.
Not even a little bit.
Closing thoughts on Rival.
Yeah.
Wolfie got to step it up because the team just does better when he plays well, and he hasn't played well. When he does play well, that's when they win.
And I think Wolfie so far has been a good barometer. When Wolfie plays well, they almost always win. But I mean, I think that you can make it even if Wolfie just does fine. I don't think Wolfie needs to frag out.
Yes, absolutely. He needs to play his position. He needs
Right.
to do well. His teammates can shine bright like a diamond. He needs to stand up, though. He can't just sit down and watch somebody like dunk the ball.
And I think that for what it's worth, Deathwalker has looked less like the best guy in the world and more like a good player. And that shows you how high I thought of him, that I could consider even a slight downgrade. Right. I don't think he is a terror right now the way he used to be. He used to be like, man, it kind of doesn't matter what we do over in mid or in duo because Deathwalker is just going to beat whoever our soul laner is. I don't know how true that is right now.
Yep.
If he can return back to like elite level as well, then I think Wolfie might not even need to do better than he is. And Wolfie and Ice Deathwalker can just do it.
I think even with those guys returning to elite level, you need Wolfie to stand up. He's kind of been hand in his pockets lately.
They want to see the sub. Can we like just show it to them? We don't have to eat it. But apparently they want to
I don't want to open it.
No, you don't want to. Oh, you don't have to open it. Oh, no.
I would have caught it.
Yeah. You can throw a pub sub.
I would have totally
You have a lot
caught
of drinks, a lot of electronics. This better be perfect. A lot of pressure on you, Jameson. Good catch. So
There
this
it
is
is.
at least what it looks like. You have to open it, but that's it.
It's,
Let's not let it crinkle too close to the mics.
Boneless chicken breast sub whole hot.
Sounds good.
I'm excited. We'll see.
We might have to rush through the show today.
I don't know about that.
You can eat that sub with some warmth on it still.
Oof.
But
We have a toaster.
For what it's worth, I don't think that Deathwalker's played poorly. I think what's happened is he's been a little bit more willing to experiment. He always has been, but they haven't all been hits for him. He's done some different builds, played some gods that not everyone else is playing, and I think it has limited him a little bit.
I think it's just hard to stay that hot for that long.
Sure,
I mean,
that's possible.
He was that hot for like a year, you know? I think it's just time to
Thick.
roll down a little
Chat, we're fans of the sub, baby.
bit.
All right, so a rival are going to be playing up against whoever comes out of SML on the North American side. Those are just some subs, by the way. Oh, also sub to our channels. Go to J Finch or to F Swag and just sub there if you like subs.
Yeah, do that.
Rival are playing SML in A, and it looks like very nice to me, I would say, are the front runners out of that. It's Armada and Sanguine, I believe. I think a lot of people would have thought Classified would be in that group. 3 is pretty wide for a team like Pain to Beyond, Mollusk, and Mando and them to make it into, and they were unable. So it's Armada, Sanguine, and Very Nice to me. I think Very Nice to me are clearly the better team of those 3, so likely that's who Rivals face.
I think Sanguine.
They got hot, didn't they?
Sanguine
Did they
is
2-0 yesterday?
Yeet
They got hot.
against Very Nice to me.
Yeah, dude.
I think Sanguine is a team that took a while to come together. Mineral's back in his support position. Shake is in mid. This is a team that I can look at and go, I've got faith in you to get through here and then, get shit on later.
Right. I don't have a ton of expectations for.
I'm not
SML
seeing Smite minor league on like finals day.
I don't know that we're seeing them on whatever the round is beyond the first round. If I'm
What
being
do you
honest.
think the chance is?
What's up?
Yeah.
No. I mean literally the round beyond the first round within placements. Like that's. I don't know.
Well, what do you think the chance is that they make it to HRX the DreamHack?
Well, again, so the SML teams have a tough draw, right? You're either playing Trifecta or Rival, and I think both of those teams are not easy to beat.
Trifecta or Rival? I think Trifecta is easy to beat.
I don't think that Insignum beat them. Do you
Me
think
neither.
that Insignum beat them?
No.
I don't think so either. But yeah, this is what the bracket looks like. So they'll go down to the lower bracket where they might be with LG, I think, by the way. I think LATAM North have a good chance, or LATAM South, Nocturnes have a good chance to beat them. They'll be playing into that slot. Again, the other team will be coming through up against Rival, the EU SML representative, and they'll be down with like Atletico and I imagine, I don't know, do you think No Ping can beat SK? We'll get to that set in a second, but I mean, it's tough to say who's going to beat that one too.
That's a coin flip.
I really think it is. That's going to be some close sets.
If No Ping beats SK, they might be able to beat Space Station, but I don't think SK can beat Space Station. I don't think Earmuffs. I don't think Space Station is that good.
I would let Space Station and No Ping play 20 matches, and I would very confidently predict them to go 20-0. That is your nuts.
Yeah.
You're clinically.
I would say
insane.
like 19-1.
Maybe. If there's a game where Venenu tries to Morrigan die for people and he dies that way, or if Aqua gets is feeling himself a little bit too much and throws, maybe.
Yeah, I'm with you. Space Station has fallen a hell of a lot, but I don't think that they've fallen down that far.
But you're definitely right to say Space Station are nowhere near as good as I think their name carries, right?
Yeah.
I think that the name Space Station is a scary one, but I don't think that they're as good as that right now. So they have plenty of time between now and then to get to that level. I think that they're a team with a lot of potential to be better with time, but I think that if they played, right now, I would be worried about it.
Yeah, it'll be problematic. We'll see. I don't know how much time. I don't know how big a fix that's going to be. It's, if anything, I see it working the opposite way. I think not, being able to stay hot, so to speak, whatever that means. Not being able to continuously practice at the highest level is going to hurt, not help them.
I think it definitely will hurt them. But while we're on SML in EU in particular is what we're looking at, or NA rather, how do you think that they have a chance to do well here and define do well however you want to, win a couple sets, that sort of thing? Will we see SML NA do well? No. All right. Hey, I'm kind of with you, so I'm not even gonna ask for that.
It's the SML is a lower level of play than the major league.
I would put them. I would definitely. So let's go down a little bit even further than Southeast Asia and top SML team. I think I would take SML there pretty easy.
Southeast Asia, get on my level. Yeah. I mean, if it's a 3-game set, it goes 3 games in SML.
You think get on my level, get a game?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
No, I mean, I don't, and I'm not saying you're crazy on that
absolutely.
either. I don't think you're super wrong. I just don't think so myself. That's interesting. Okay, that's a good one. We'll talk about obviously EU in a moment, but that's just NASML. 5th place in EU is Mouse Sports. So they're going to be going up against Southeast Asia, get on my level in that matchup. I think Mouse are in a good position to make noise placements. The Dardis change has obviously worked for them. They
Mouse
look
wins.
good. I don't know about Cherio, though. How has he looked for you in the support role?
Average to fine.
I would say a little below average, in all honesty.
I think he does his job.
I mean, I don't know. You don't think he's a little bit too limited by these Najah supports? And even when he plays Guardians, he doesn't look exceptional. I think there's a big...
I liked his Sobek play.
So, I mean, I think it was fine.
Yeah.
I sure.
I think that's good enough to get on my level.
But is he going to... Well, sorry. Allow me to clarify. Get on my level will win 0 matches. Unless they play Athletica. So let me make that clarification statement.
Okay.
I'm talking about Mouse against other teams.
Mouse against Trifecta, I think Mouse wins.
I think so too, but I think it's a close set. I don't think it's free for them.
I agree. And then whoever plays Nocturnes or Obey loses to them.
Yes, I think that's probably how that goes. So you've said that you expect Obey to come out from this side of the bracket pretty easy, though, it would seem. But I want to talk a little bit more about just the Mouse roster just in general. I mean, how... You sound way more confident in Cherio than I am. I think there's a difference between Cherio in Egypt and in Cherio here for sure. So I think there's definitely a bump he'll receive just by being able to see what's happening. But I think that from what we've seen online, it's been a little rough.
It's always been rough, and it always has been rough. I think that Cherio realistically is totally fine in that support role. Realistically, it's about the whole team. It's about the whole team. And I am looking at Frostiak more so than anybody else.
Frostiak's looked comfortable to me. I don't know.
He has looked comfortable, but it's been inconsistent, and I do kind of worry about that.
Sure.
I need him to keep his consistency. I'm excited to see Big Man Tings on LAN. Big Man Tings can be kind of problematic in comms and just like when it comes to team play. And so I think that in person, that either gets amplified or extinguished.
Right.
And I think that when they all come to LAN, Big Man Tings, I've seen him before. I think he might be able to be balanced a little bit harder. And Cherio also just has this thing at LAN that makes his teams play better. It's an X factor. He's just really...
He cares a lot.
He's hyper emotional. And
yes, it's visible on him as he walks around the studio. It's visible.
There's a very real, and I know how batshit crazy this sounds, there's a very real like aura that comes out when Cherio's at LAN.
I think so.
Like he makes his teammates like care. It's like this like when the movie football team is down at half and then the coach just gives a rousing speech and all of a sudden they're the best team in the league.
Yeah.
Like that's what happens with Cherio. He just like comes to LAN and all of a sudden everybody's like, Rudy, and I think it's a different world.
I agree.
Does that mean, do I think like, Mouse are on their way to the final stage? Absolutely not. But I think that you will get a better product out of Mouse on LAN here than you would online for sure.
I absolutely think they have a chance to improve. Let's go down to a team that
I like the phrasing you said. You said make some noise.
Yes.
I think it's exactly what they'll do. I think that they'll win a couple of matches, maybe even upset somebody, get a couple of fans and like some new T-shirts sold, and then ultimately fall to the high-end strong teams.
The team that I think actually might have a chance to show that they're not nearly as bad as they look is SK, though. I think that who's the next worst team in Europe? It's Mouse. Yes. They're against a really stacked region. I know they have not improved. They've won one game all split, I think, right?
Yes.
Or not split.
Year.
All of season 5. That's incredibly rough. And I don't want to sugarcoat that. I don't want to pretend that that's not how it is.
Yep.
They have shown no improvement. I think that they are playing against an incredibly stacked field, and there's a really good chance against some of the bottom NA teams, definitely against some SML and SGS teams, that we can see this SK team look way better than we've seen them look. There's a chance. I probably don't want to put my money on that. I would give them a 40-60 chance to show up and at least look better than they've looked until now.
I'm with you. I'm a unashamed SK fan.
Yes,
I've
indeed.
loved the organization since back in the Counter-Strike days. I still have friends there. These guys individually, man, SK is a team that I legitimately want to do well.
Here's the thing, and I don't want to interrupt your monologue, so I'm sorry, go ahead.
That's the end of my monologue.
Okay.
I want them to do well.
The thing is, because they're 6th, and this is why being 6th hurts so much, I think they have a legit chance of going to the lower bracket immediately because they're playing Brazil. And historically, Brazil has been the most close region. I think LATAM has caught up to them in Season 5
Yes.
and are the better team. But I think if you go back historically, Brazil's the best region, right, internationally. And they're going against this No-Ping team, which has taken down the team that we normally see at LAN, Klizz's team, right, with Non and all the players that we see all the time. It's Oship's team that's here this time on No-Ping. They can beat this SK team. I think there's a chance.
There is a chance, and there's two conversations here. There's just SK versus No Ping in a box. Forget about bigger
Right,
picture,
just
land,
that
and
set.
region. And No Ping is in a conversation to beat SK, sure. But I think the larger conversation,
I think SK are the favorites.
Yes, they are the favorites. I think the larger conversation is the fact that No Ping might be good enough to beat Black Dragons to get here. But the level of international competition that Black Dragons has seen, they're able to better prepare for this one specifically. When you're applying to jobs, you send a different resume out to each place. You don't just shotgun black, right?
That's what you're supposed to do. A lot of people don't, but that's what you're supposed to do.
And that's kind of what's going on here, I think, is that you look at Black Dragons and they have a dossier. They have a resume to apply at each match, right? Whereas No Ping, they've got to watch online. They've got some tape.
You think it might be familiarity that's helped them beat Black Dragons, and that wouldn't translate, I guess, or
less that No Ping beat Black Dragons because of familiarity, but more so that lack of familiarity will cause their international matchups to be more difficult than that of Black Dragons. So Black Dragons might be the slightly weaker team versus No Ping, and I think that's a very slight slip.
I think they just probably lost once.
Yeah.
That's literally it, yeah.
The difference between these two teams are irrelevant because I think the difference between these two teams is different than the difference between these teams versus their international brethren. And so let's acknowledge the fact that No Ping is a better team than Black Dragons. Black Dragons will most likely be the better team internationally. And so that's why I'm not really sold on No Ping. And I'm kind of upset. It feels like, everybody kind of roots for these international squads. And I feel like, good for No Ping. But without Black Dragons here, it feels like, they weren't able to do it.
I think that might have been the most popular international team was Black Dragons, and unfortunately they didn't make it.
Yep.
You got to make it. It's like they say, that's why we play the games. You got to win.
Yep.
So, we'll see. I think SK are probably, 70-30, I would favor them in this matchup. Maybe even a little bit less, maybe 60-40. But I think there's definitely some real risk that they could drop into the lower bracket, even in that matchup.
Sure.
But that's the EU half of it. That's only the EU half. We got to go over now to North America. We talked about these buys already. It's United and Splyce that made it through for North America. And if I could just slurp up United for a minute, I certainly will. They look very good. They're 4-1 in the back half of the split. They've been doing very well, coming in hot. Only losses to Splyce, who look very, very good. That's not a loss I think you feel bad about. And it's tough. I know that they've been getting stomped internationally this season, but Baskin really does change things for this team.
I agree.
It is very difficult to get an accurate read on where this team's going to go, but I think that they have a better chance than their previous showings might indicate just because of Baskin.
I was never on the United train until they won the damn championship.
And even then, I don't know how much you're worth, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, and we've discussed that they faked it until they made it.
Right.
And when you win the world championship, I respect it. You fucking did it, right? You won the game. And then coming into the season, I wasn't sold. I thought it was a flash in the pan. The summertime, they really stepped it up, and I was excited. And then Baskin, I am sold now.
Yeah.
I am sold.
And
it's not just the acquisition of Baskin. It's the team overall with Baskin.
And I think it would be fair to say that the team has been a tiny bit loose in these last few games, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Especially some of Scream's play has been questionable is too harsh because I think that when they're ready to turn it on, it will never look like that ever.
For sure.
But I think that for sure there's been a bit of looseness these last few weeks. So they've been 4-1. Knowing that they're secured, for sure, nothing to worry about. When they come into land, I think this team is very scary. I know a lot of people are saying in a lull, right now. I think that EU have a good shot, and I think so do Splyce.
Yeah.
The second place team here, who, by the way, is 5-0 on the back half of the split. Mm-hmm. No team is better than them over these last over the last half of fall. This team is going to do very well. I feel confident saying that.
I think that Splyce will surprise people. I think that Splyce will be very good. Do we have the bracket well, I guess no, all that feeds into the DreamHack bracket.
Right. We don't know yet who the 1 and 2 seeds would even be likely to face.
Right.
I don't think we know.
Yeah, because it's double a limb.
Right.
I mean, when it comes down to it, Splyce are a team that I don't think Splyce dances at the same prom as fucking Dignitas or Energy.
Yeah, they're like the kids that are building a rocket in their basement when everyone else is at prom, right? They're like doing something literally entirely different. They're just doing their own fucking thing.
I mean, they kind of are. I do find them still a little bit behind the top teams. I don't think like.
And which teams do you mean, by the way?
When I talk about the elite
top
teams, I'm talking about Dignitas, talking about Energy, and sometimes I'm talking about United.
I think that you could fairly say I don't think Splyce are Dig energy level, and that is it right now. I think they are right there with the United.
Yeah.
Splyce plays the winner of placement rounds.
They play the top seed.
Yeah.
Oof. That's not easy. Who do you think is gonna be the top seed out of it? We don't have to do a full bracket prediction. I think we'll have no chance to do that, but it's tough. Probably, I think Obey are the best team in there. So it could very likely be Obey Splyce, which is a killer set that I would go to HRX. DreamHack.com. I don't know what it is.
HighResExpo.com.
HighResExpo.com. I would pay that price to watch just that set. That's an insane set.
Oh, P.S. by the way, if we can do a read in the middle of it,
Go for
10
it.
more days. HighResExpo.com. Tickets are going to be on sale for a while, but we have a discount deal with the hotels right now, where if you buy tickets to HRX at DreamHack, you also get a discount on the hotel.
Right.
That only lasts till the 16th. So get your tickets before then if you want to get the cheap hotels. And also, like, hotels are kind of running out. It's downtown Atlanta, so you're going to find some place to stay, but it might be mad expensive. So
it could easily be if you're not part of this.
Yeah,
And that's not like trying to trick you to buy them. Like, as someone who lived in downtown Atlanta for 3 years, it can be very expensive there in a hurry.
Yeah, so definitely want to scoop up those tickets real quick.
Yeah.
Obey Splyce would be fun to watch, and I like you said, I just want to watch that in a vacuum.
Yes, that's insane.
But Obey's there.
I guess they would be considered 4th overall, though, between the top 4 teams. Jeez, that's rough for a first game. Wow.
So is one team makes it out of placement rounds? I thought
No, 4
did.
teams do,
Yeah,
but
that's what
the
I thought.
number 1 team from placements would be going up against the bottom seed from the top 4 they're already in.
So second, which is the loser of the finals, plays Energy.
Okay, so the loser of
Second
finals.
plays Energy. Okay, so it's inverse order with EU getting the higher priority seeding.
Right.
Right. So Dignitas will play the 4th team that comes out of qualifiers from that. Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I got you.
Not so bad. Yeah, I think Obey could be pretty nasty. I'm looking at. I'm also, CLG could come out of nowhere. This is a team that has systematically failed.
I have no faith in this team. I've said this before.
I say this with all the love and respect to homie FA out there. I just think that he brings something different to a team than Mask does. Mask is a much more vocal jungler, and I think is more aggressive in his calling, if you will.
Fucking scream.
What's he saying?
He's just yelling Mask.
I think Mask is, and I need to preface this by saying I think Homie is one of the better fucking junglers around.
Yes.
But it
is a tough sell to me that Homie was the problem with CLG.
So
I would not buy that at the store.
Skill level. It's not skill level.
I mean, I did. If it's some intangible I don't know, I guess I don't have enough information. It's really hard to believe.
It's communication and it's shot calling. And
Sure.
I think that Mask brings that element. I think that Mask elevates any team that will respect him. Now, that's a big if.
Sure.
But if Mask is in a comfortable environment, Mask can fucking elevate a team to crazy levels.
I think so.
I think that there is a non-zero chance. I think there is a 1/3. I think there is a 33% chance that CLG just fucking pops off and becomes like a team on the same level as Splyce.
Well, let's put some information
Overnight.
around CLG.
Overnight.
They're 5th seed right now, which means they're going to be playing against Oceania first, which is an auto win, I consider in my mind.
Yeah.
They're also 1-4.
They do have cool jackets though.
Oh, they do, yeah.
And I like Coach Cutie.
Yeah.
but that's it.
But and they're in a tough side of the bracket with Rival, and if they beat Rival, it's Space Station, which is not easy. But it's tough for them, and I know that you're feeling some CLG, but they're 1-4 in the back half of the split. They have not been doing particularly well. If they jive with Mask, I think they beat Atletico and can maybe do some stuff in the lower bracket.
Dude, if CLG,
but I have no expectations for them.
If CLG beat Rival, they beat Space Station.
They don't beat Rival.
I think there's, like I said, the CLG that we see when we watch this LAN there's no place to see it. We haven't seen it.
You're sure. So
I don't think that the CLG that we watched the back half of the split.
You're giving them like more credit with this time than you even want to give Space Station. It's I'm surprised by it. Okay, go ahead. Go tell a little bit why.
I absolutely am.
Yeah.
I really think Mask is that big of a deal.
Sure.
I think at the beginning of the split, at the beginning of the season, when Scream was still like gearing up, I think Mask was unequivocally the best jungler in North America. And
like way back start of season 5.
Yeah.
Sure.
And into the summer split.
Hold it. Scribbles, E-United, Splyce, Energy, and Dignitas are all already at DreamHack, so they're not in the placements at all. Go ahead.
I just don't want Mask to retire.
You eulogized my man for a 3-week absence. My man took I don't even know if you can call it a break.
Yeah, no, I'm the donkey of the day for that one for sure. Mask, fuck you.
Yeah, he definitely. That's on Mask.
No, I'm heated at Mask. I'm heated at Heat right now. I'm masked up at Heat.
Sure.
But he knows it. He comes to LAN, I'll smack him in the face.
Sure.
But I think that he really is that fucking good. I think that his gameplay is probably equal to Homie FA. And I think that his ability to make shot calls and carry a team in that regard outweighs Homie FA, unfortunately. And like I said, I am one of the bigger Homie FA stands around. Yeah. So, I'm just being mad objective here. I really and truly think you saw his fucking nemesis? That was out of control.
He's very good, undoubtedly.
Like that was out of I think Mask, we are going to see CLG that we haven't seen before. And I'm mad.
Are they your dark horse?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, and that's fine. I want to get an idea of where you think they are, though. You think that they're on Splyce level, Space Station level? What do you see the CLG team being?
I think they're in between Splyce and Space Station.
Like a potential to be even better than that Space Station roster.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
For sure.
Very heavy yes.
Well, let's talk about the
hard yes.
Space Station in
Thought
third
like
place.
Hand like it's fun getting into trouble. Yes.
Space Station gonna be third. That means they're gonna have the first round bye in placements. They were 3-2 in the back half of the fall split. Space Station.
Right.
And they're going to be going against the winner of SK and Brazil, which I think is somewhat close, not easy to call, but I definitely would think they're favored in that matchup. So more realistically, then we're talking about like the rival CLG, which one of those teams come out, and who they could face up against. But just Space Station in general, I think that they have potential to come in and be very, very good in this LAN environment. Normally, the biggest problem for Space Station is they play Energy right away. Right, when they come to LANs and they get bopped by Energy. I want to see the Space Station team come in and play some other teams, try and get Veneno into the groove. I think they have a really good shot here.
I mean, they basically Space Station have to worry about Rival or CLG.
Yes.
And I think if CLG come in hot, that's going to be a really rousing set. Rival is routinely kind of smacked them in the face. You ever microwave a piece of pizza?
Yeah, I try not to, but yeah, I've done it.
I think
you should put it in the oven, by the way.
I think that's kind of where Space Station's at, where I think that you've got your clear victors that are the hot pizza, and then you have your kind of surprises, like I think Nocturnes Obey or CLG might, and that's your morning after the cold pizza, and that like sort of floppy piece, that's Space Station. I think they're just like, they're past their prime, and they haven't re-energized themselves, or they've done so in the wrong way.
Wow. This is heavy criticism. You know, you're not winning any favors, right? It's hard to Beth.
I understand that.
The Jeff Bear of fandom out there. Good luck.
I understand that.
All right.
And I am the lightning.
You don't like Beth?
Now.
I misspoke. It wasn't a real name. I misspoke. So I tried to save it. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
I thought it was the sex tank, but
I don't like saying sex. Like
well, you don't like describing Jeff Hinwell as the sex for whatever reason.
I think that's awkward.
You don't think Jeff Hinwell's a good-looking dude?
I think Jeff Hinwell's a very good-looking dude.
He is. I
agree.
agree.
I think he always has been.
Yeah.
But
but for some reason you get all squeamish.
I think it's weird.
That sounds like a thing in you that you're trying to. So there's a thing in you that you don't like, and that hate's coming out around this. It's making you uncomfortable.
I mean, I'm very sexually open.
Sure. I think you might be more open than you think.
No, I know exactly how open I am. Actually, I'm just saying that the idea of it feels immature on our broadcast.
It is a little. It is a little bit.
That's what bothers me.
It's very old high resi.
And I like, and I am trying to bring that torch forward. I like fun stuff like that.
But I mean, I think that's a very old high resi. I think like videos with the car exploding is like in between. You're not all the way to the sex with that stuff. You know what I mean? Like Minion has spawned is still not to the sex level.
I mean, the sex came out, and I was like, why are we doing this?
Because it's fucking funny.
No, it's not. It's not that funny.
It's fucking funny.
I don't know. I don't think
I'm a big fan. Well, anyway, Thom is refilling his haterade batteries or whatever you want to call them, and not very much believing in Space Station. I think they have a good chance to be good. How much are you believing in Trifecta maskless? I know that you've been slurping our boy. They no longer have him. They have Sam for soccer in the jungle. They're 2-3 in the back half, and they're going to be going up against Insignum most likely. Whoever comes out of the EU SML is who Trifecta's going to be playing as the 4th seed. And by the way, can I ask you just a general thought? Is that a tough draw? Would you rather be playing Nocturne's Brazil, or would you rather be playing SML?
I would play SML.
Okay, so you think that the 4th seed has got the better draw with the SS or with SML? Okay.
Yeah.
I think that this Trifecta team, I don't think they'll do like there are 4 teams coming out, right? I don't know if Trifecta's one of them.
I agree.
Yeah, I just don't think so.
I don't think there's a world that they lose to a fucking SML team.
No, I don't think so either. They're much better than that. Well, to be honest, Sam for soccer, I mean, they're almost an SML team themselves, really, right?
Oof. I don't know.
Isn't that Paul's team too? I mean, they're SML boys, right?
I mean, this is like taking this is basically taking the.
See, Gooch agreed with me that mostly an SML team.
No, but you know what this is.
That's tongue in cheek, by the way. They're very good.
You take the fucking all rookie team from the NBA and say, all right, go beat a college team.
They would.
That's basically what you're seeing here. The reason that we can like laugh and say it's an SML team is because these players were so good that they were called up to the major league.
Yes. These are the best of them.
They are better than the rest of the fucking league.
Yes.
I don't see Lasma replacing Fails. I don't know why, but I don't see Lasma replacing Fails.
I actually don't know why we don't see that.
Yeah, me neither.
I think that SK team is just really tight.
I mean, Paul, Scary D, fucking Neilma and Zapman, Sam for soccer is the only name that I'm like, and he's been performing. He's been doing his job. There are still growing pains,
Yes.
sorry, but he's definitely improved.
There's been some points where you can definitely see, I think, that he's still catching up. But for the most part, I think he's done his job. He's definitely not Mask, which is...
And he won't be.
And no, and I don't think he'll make it there. But that's an identity shift for the team, right? Maybe you don't have Kobe, but you have another good shooting guard over there, right? Or whatever the deal is. You know what I mean?
You have Vermont Sessions.
Yeah, you have someone over there who can do the role. I think that they have a legitimate superstar in Paul, though.
Yes.
When he initially came up, we're like, oh, this is like flash in the pan, some Hebo band cross rush. That's not going to keep working in SPL.
And
it absolutely is.
Oh my god, Paul has been one of my favorite players to watch.
He looks good.
In years.
And I don't mean Paul himself. I mean his play looks good.
Yeah, I mean.
Unlike Thom, I'm not exploring right
now. Oh no, he looks like a Walmart M&M. Like that dude, I don't know, man.
Walmart hoodie M&M or.
You ever buy Xanax in high school? Looks like Paul would be the guy selling it to you. Anyway, realistically, I think that Paul has been one of my favorite players to watch in the past couple of years. He had a play style in the minor league that wasn't going to adapt.
Right.
He was a pub stop. He was better than the minor league, and was just like, yo, want to see my wiener? And was just better.
Literally, he was like, I'm just better than you. Yeah. Good luck.
I'm going to play Uller and jump at level 2. On you. And win.
Good luck, guy.
Also, your jungler better fuck off. Like, Paul just did that. And we were like, word. And then he got elevated up to the major league. And my biggest thing, I said, homie's going to come out and start swinging like Griffey, and he's going to strike out, and he's, that's it. And he didn't. Game 1, he played a more conservative selection. It wasn't Uller and Hebo, because that was also the concern that maybe he would be limited by God Pool. He picked something rather conservative.
He looks good at Raijin. I've seen good Agni from him. He plays a lot of good stuff.
He stepped back. His positioning was fantastic, and he played intelligent Smite.
Yeah.
And that was something that, I mean, there are people that I'm friends with that, play ranked with him and everything. Nobody expected it. And I think that's another really cool thing about Paul. Like, he's just so nonchalant about it, and just like, yo, yeah, by the way, I can also like be the smart guy.
Right.
I'm not just like the feet up on the table dude.
Well, that's the
I
problem.
like
A
that.
lot of the
I
top
like that.
players really are, and it is frustrating. They're like the guy in high school who like pretends he didn't study but
Yeah.
did. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like Paul's kind of that guy. He's like, oh man, I'm just so smart. I just accidented into being better.
I think
but he
Paul,
is good.
I think Paul is that guy.
Yes, and I don't
Paul
like
just
that guy, but
happens
Paul
to-
is that guy.
I think he's smart enough to know the difference between the two leagues.
Right.
And I talk a lot about this true metagame where I don't mean the picks and bans and the patches and shit. I mean you have to play differently because Zeros is an untouchable Morrigan, right? What are you giggling at?
I don't know what
Word.
this. Let me see this. Oh, he's a smart guy. That's Taj Mowry, by the way, ladies and
Yeah,
gentlemen.
the
Brother to
sister,
T and Tamara.
sister, yeah, little brother.
An aside, when I was a kid, my mom used to say that some of our presents, she would write on them that they were from Tamara and Tia. Like, instead of from Santa or from my mother, Tamara Mowry gave me a Christmas present.
I love everything about
Isn't that hilarious?
I love everything
my
about
mom is
that.
like that. She just does
That's
stuff like
awesome.
that. It's
We
like-
actually met a tertiary character from Smart Guy.
Oh, did we?
Yeah, when we met Krista. At
Oh, that's
Maurice.
right.
Yeah.
Oh,
so,
my God.
hey there, guy.
Well, we talked already a little bit about CLG. Let's talk.
I'm not done talking about Paul.
We talked about Trifecta a lot. We
I
gotta
am not-
talk about Hera.
I'm not
We gotta
done
keep
talking about
moving.
Paul.
Okay,
Paul-
be quick, and we'll zoom over how bad LG are.
My big thing. I think we are watching Paul.
Amount of water.
I think he can have some of this. Remember how I stole your drink every episode?
Yes, I do. I'll pour some out like a human. Oh, thanks. Yeah, I appreciate you.
I think
James is literally the best there's ever been.
that's very
He doesn't want me to say that though. That's the worst thing I could have said. Jameson's trash. I wish he'd get better.
Paul is going to win something someday.
Yeah,
It's not on Trifecta.
sure. You think Paul's better than this team even?
Yes.
Yeah, I think so.
Hard yes. I think Zapman a little past his prime. Zapman's kind of like
Stage fault. I don't know, buddy. We got to get on the LG Rose train. Hurry this up.
okay, yeah, sure. I'm saying that Trifecta, sure, they're not doing shit. But Paul is
Thank you.
Paul is going to win something someday. Right now, you're watching like a top tier player.
Yeah, I
And
think so.
this is the beginning. It's going to be real fun watching him grow up.
Well, let's talk a little bit about LG. They're 6th seed, very clearly 0-5 on the back half, and they're going up against LATAM. And I think that this is the only matchup where the SPL team isn't favored. I think that in this matchup, it's actually Nocturnes, who I assume it will be Nocturnes coming out, not Lodo. In this matchup, I think it is Nocturnes that will be favored in it. They've looked so good at every land we've seen them at. They're so close. So LG's gonna be waiting on LATAM. Even if they win, it's Obey. They would go up against next. Just not gonna be an easy task for them. And LG have had some troubles, man. They've got Inbound in the support role now. I believe Gino's moved over to the middle lane for
Yeah.
them as well. We'll see if that works. I love Inbound, and I actually think Inbound's good enough to be on a 6th place SPL team. I
Agreed.
really do. I don't think he's gonna hinder this team. I just don't think they're good enough, man.
I don't think so either. I think that this is a really unfortunate time for Inbound to sort of make his way into the pro league. I think that the kid has legs. I could see him as a middle of the pack support player and gradually make his way up. I looked at this. He is in a line of legendary. Legendary is a big word for him, but he's in a line of really important support players. I look at the support player kind of like the catcher on a baseball team, where it's
Sure.
like the sort of intelligence is really important.
You're like the hub, really.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And there's sort of like this family tree of support players that I think starts with Pain to Beyond and what he did with his squads and making them into enemy. And then I think that kind of got passed, that torch got passed to Polar Bear Mike and what he was able to do. And I said this, you can look up the old fucking VODs. When PBM started playing with Eager and he was just Zapman's little push doll, I was saying that this guy has the instincts and will become a great player coach type guy.
Yeah.
And I think that was where we see he won a fucking world championship off of it, and that's very important. And I think that Inbound could be that third person in that lineage. I think that he could be there. His skill level is not, and it's not a matter of he's just not good enough. It's a matter of he's switching platforms, he's switching leagues. It's there's a lot to adapt to, and you're not going to succeed thrown on the stage. It's unfortunate that he was asked to perform right now.
It's tough for Inbound. I think he definitely has a future. I don't know if I think of him quite as highly as you. I think middle of the pack might be his ceiling.
Sorry.
SPL caliber, but we'll certainly see. But I just, this LG roster has not shown me anything that makes me think they could show up here. I think that there's a chance, if there's any reason why they can beat Nocturnes, is that they're historically very strong at the start of splits. And maybe round one of placements can be their start of split, where they look really good. But the more they have to play, I think the more their weaknesses sort of get exposed. They looked good because they rode Kiki at the start of the split. And you can't do that every game, or they'll look good because we can play something weird in the jungle. Go ahead. Go ahead. Okay, fine. If you don't want to make your dumb joke that you're shit-eating grinning about, then we don't have to hear it. We can play weird off-meta stuff like Arachne in the jungle and catching people off guard, and they'll get a win or two. But they can't replicate any of that. They don't have any strategy that is, you know what I mean? Like let's say, how is Obey going to win their games? Prime usually gets fed.
Yes.
Swig is there supporting him very much so. Right?
Yes.
We can know what their playbook looks like going in.
Yeah.
What does LG's playbook look like going into literally any set?
Gino and we can try to win the game.
That's it.
Yes.
They try. I mean, and by the way, I don't know how much credit I want to give Weekend, for any success they've had.
Yesterday, yeah, and I said this on the broadcast, I think it was with Taco. Weekend played his fucking face off yesterday. And it's one of those situations where, Weekend...
LG, the worst team ever? Dog, SK is literally in the same...
SK might beat LG.
I would love to see that matchup. I'm not lying. Just to know.
Yeah.
I don't think it would be very lopsided in either direction. I think it'd be a close match.
I think SK beats LG, not lopsided, but 8K lead.
You would say 2-0, but both games close, or to 3?
I'd say 2-0, both games medium close.
Wow.
So
you think LG's worse than SK?
Yes. I just think the switch to Bobby to Inbound just came a little bit too late. I think that the switch to Bobby was a little bit too late. I think the switch to what Gino's been trying to do in the mid lane a little bit too late. Weekend and Gino are a really powerful jungle mid combo that I wish we got to see earlier in the year. The problem was Gino in support was fantastic as well. Gino is just a really good fucking player.
I think Gino's better than 6th seed. Consider
me surprised. I didn't really know Genocide too well. I didn't really know kind of what his whole deal was, and I was very surprised. And I'm willing to admit that. And these things kind of excite me because I think that Gino. I had a lot of high praise for what Paul's done. I think that Paul will be a top-tier legendary player in the future. I don't know if Gino is there, but Gino will be a top player.
I think Gino definitely has some legs to him. I think he can keep playing. I don't know if he does better than middle. Again, similar to Inbound in my mind, but I definitely think he's better than 6th.
Yes, without a doubt. Yeah, without a doubt.
So that's sort of the idea for the placement stages. Obviously, that's happening the 5th through the 10th, and that'll be a week before DreamHack, which is what the 15th to the 18th. So a lot of action happening in November.
That is a LAN though. I've seen people confused. So they're coming here. We do this at Skillshot. So they're here. They are here. We're just not at DreamHack Atlanta.
Right, so yeah, that'll all be LAN. The SML, though, that's not going to be LAN. Those are going to be online games. We will be broadcasting them, though, from here, but those won't be LAN. And one representative for each of those will come there. So make sure, send any predictions to us on Twitter. Hire us Finch on Twitter. You are F.Y on Twitter. If you want to send us predictions or anything like that, absolutely hit us up. We'll talk about some of our favorite ones before we do the preview one for that one. But I do want to get some of your thoughts on our new goddess. She will not be at Worlds. She will not be at HRX. So don't worry about that. She's going to be in your casuals. We'll talk a little bit about Hera. I assume you were watching the reveal with me the other day, right? You know what she does.
My life for August.
God, shut the fuck up.
My life for August.
You know what's cool about this being the 10th time I've heard you say that? Is
My
nothing.
life for August.
It's literally nothing about that. But I think Hera is in a position to be pretty. Here's what I think. I don't think that Hera is going to be as OP as everyone is saying. Because she's very immobile, she doesn't have the best range at all, she's very much reliant on her ultimate. We'll go through her kit in a little bit more detail, yes, but she's sort of, I would say, a control mage who doesn't have a ton of damage, who's going to be maybe not the best at being in close range on those fights. She's got to pick her cooldowns very well when to use them. I'm very excited to see how Hera works.
I don't really get the ult.
You don't get summoning Argus?
Yeah, I mean, like, my life for Argus, but I don't really get, like, the whole... It's a pet. Cool. It's like a dope pet. And
It's a big-ass fucking pet.
I don't care how big it is. It doesn't, like, make, like, it... Numbers. You know?
Well, let's go through her kit. If we could start from her, we'll start from her passive. Just gonna talk about what it all does. Commanding Presence is her passive. So when she deals damage to gods while Argus is not summoned out, the cooldown gets reduced. When Argus is active, she deals damage. It actually heals Argus, and it scales up based on her level. So essentially, the idea is that dealing damage either makes Argus, sturdier, literally heals him, or gets her closer to having Argus. So when you don't have him out, you kind of want to be trying to weave in and out to get back to that cooldown. I think the idea with Hera very much is to have Argus out often, and to play through him. So that's kind of the main idea with the passive for her. I don't know if you have any thoughts about the passive in particular you want to go through, or we can just move right on to her next ability.
Yeah, the passive seems pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah, it's not a huge deal, I don't think. It's definitely largely about augmenting Argus coming back out, I would say.
For sure.
So her first ability is pretty wild. Royal Assault, chat is always asking for unique abilities that have different targeters, that do different things.
Right.
I don't know how this is as a clear tool, though. She has to be very close to the wave to hit it with her first. So I don't even know if you want to go this level 1. Polymorph might be better. I'm not sure. I haven't gotten to play her on PTS or anything yet. But she has to be so close. She knocks the front minion wave back to the second one, then the arms kind of crash through. She has a cone in front of her, and then there's sort of a rectangle, think Strife from Discordia in the back. And whatever minions you hit in the front, they'll go back to that rectangle in the back, and you'll get damage there. There's also a line in the middle where both arms hit for double damage.
It's yeah, sure, cool. I think that her wave clear will be less safe than people think, because if you want to hit the first part of it, you got to walk up. I disagree. I disagree with you in your overall assessment. I think she will be a damage dealing character.
But what does she have that's good damage from any range?
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's like I don't get the ult. Argus really has to fucking mollywop somebody if that's going to be his thing.
Yeah, I think it's pretty strong. It is, yes, 75% scaling. So definitely, it's not the highest scaling, but it does hit. It can hit potentially multiple times. I think that's probably why we're seeing it like this. If you get hit by that line in the middle,
yes,
it's an absurd amount.
When the two fists slam together, you get hit by both.
Yes, so that's
So
where.
yeah.
But that's really narrow. That is a really narrow line.
I mean, sure.
I mean, if someone is stunned, you can guarantee it probably if they're set up. But I think aside from that, it's not super reliable.
Well, I think in team fights, you're not going to be hitting with the first part. Team fights, you're just aiming the Strife thing.
Yes.
And I think that if you kind of separate these two abilities as like, think of it as, the way I think of it as like, the fists is the spell. And you just can't be in melee range when I'm casting it. That's what it is to me.
Right, but I'm saying if you think of it as just the fists,
yeah.
And how often do you realistically think you're hitting people at the middle of that rectangle? I don't think that often.
I think more often than you. I think more often than you think, but not every time.
It's so delayed. I mean, watch the cast. It's just tough. Unless there's great setup, it's tough.
It's not that. I don't think it's that slow.
Yeah?
It's slow. It's very slow from startup, but like if you're anticipating that, the time you have to juke from the appearance of the portals is not that big.
Sure. But again, that doesn't make it so much a PvP element then as like a PvE element, right? Where she's got to sort of predict where your pathing is going to go, not so much worry about your reaction.
I'll feel you on that.
So that's what I mean. I think it's definitely difficult. And the reason why I say you have to hit that middle part, if you're only hitting one fist, it's 255 power and 75% scaling. That's not particularly impressive to me. That's max rank on the ability.
I mean, that's not bad.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't know if I think of her as being that strong from range, especially this ability she's still relying on. I think where you're much more going to be getting value out of her is from Polymorph, her second ability, which is very, very strong when she hits it, right? This is the one that where enemies hit by it take damage, and it also causes them to polymorph into an animal. That is the silence disarm effect that Kerninos does with Wild Hunt as well, where you're turned into the boar. She turns you into a camp from the map somewhere. You just turn into one of those animals, and it's pretty slow. It is, and it has a wind up, so if you're just like with her, you should be able to get out of the way. But if she can catch this in the chaos of a team fight with some setup, I think this is very, very powerful.
Yeah, I mean, yes, of course. This is there's not much to really dissect here. Polymorph is a very strong ability. The range on it is fucking silly.
It is long. I agree.
The range on it is really what makes it silly. I know it's it's a slow projectile, but the range on it is really big. And
oh my God, you're getting my life, Sir Argus in chat.
My life for August.
You guys are the worst.
So I think that the polymorph is a real big deal.
So you're saying that you do see her though as like a damage mage?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, her first ability is on a 10-second cooldown. You get 40% cooldown reduction, and you're shitting pretty at like.
And
6.
you want to? I think that you definitely want to prioritize cooldown.
Yeah.
Just literally just to have more Arguses. That's absurd. Look at that. No, Tom, I saw the look. Please.
My life for August.
Just remember that we're friends, and you care that I'm unhappy. We can do that. No, Polymorph is very strong. I think that this will be the core. How often a good Hera player is able to get value out of this is going to be the huge differentiating factor. And in 1v1s, it's absurd, right? She's not very safe. She doesn't have any movement at all. No leaps, no dashes, nothing like that. She has a shield. We'll talk about her third ability. This is such a huge peel tool. If like a warrior jumps on you or an assassin and you hit them with this, you know, if you're buying yourself, I don't know if we have the stun duration listed. I don't see it here, but
2 seconds.
Oh, it's 2 seconds at max. Yeah, that's a long time.
It is a very long time
to get you out. If you got this maxed up, 2 seconds duration on that polymorph.
The person can follow you. Don't forget though.
That's right. They can walk through. But I mean,
they're just a pig.
Or a harpy.
Or a harpy or a centaur or some shit.
I don't understand. Are you unimpressed with polymorph then, or?
No, I'm just saying the caveat to it.
There is a caveat. Yes.
The caveat is that the player is still in control of their.
I agree. She could probably win 1v1s pretty easy. Proto Zula.
Yeah, 1v1 gonna spank that booty.
All right, her third ability, Divine Shroud. Oh, Jameson's fragging out. If only he could be this good consistently. Divine Shroud, very strong ability. That shield that she's able to pull out. It's not particularly overwhelming, I would say, by itself. It does interact with Argus, where if she activates it, it also sends out the pulse from Argus to give a little bit of extra damage. But on her, it's a health shield that can definitely get her out of a lot of damage. And it's very quick cast, so you can use it often in response to damage as well, I would imagine, from how quickly we've been able to see it cast.
Yeah, it's really quick. The movement speed is
she
really
does
nice.
get movement speed. I lied to you.
Yeah, she gets 15% movement speed.
I lied to you.
Yeah, the movement speed's pretty nice. I mean, the shield health is a pretty decent amount, 250 and then a whole bunch per level. So I think that this is just a strong ability. Long ass cooldown though. It's almost 20 seconds.
And it needs to be, right? Because the way you punish Hera is by getting on her, and almost certainly this god will be stacking up cooldown. So
yeah,
it's a good thing it's long. She'll probably have it up pretty reliably, though, I would imagine.
Yeah.
So baiting it out of her is going to be important. But Argus is the lead I am burying.
My life for Argus.
You are not burying it, I would say. Argus is her summonable. He does damage on deploy in a big area where she drops him down. He'll then either kind of like protect Hera, you know, like a bodyguard, or she can direct it.
So, all right, there's a whole bunch of fucking words. It's a pet, right? That's all it is? It's fucking
not a
pet?
Bastet cat. It's definitely better than that.
No, it is a Bastet cat.
It is.
It's just fucking brolic.
I don't know every game ever.
What?
What are you talking about?
I'm saying like it's just a Bastet cat that's really, really strong.
Oh, okay.
Brolic means strong.
Oh, I don't know that word.
Oh, word. Okay.
That's pretty rare, by the way. My vocabulary is extensive.
Brolic is just like.
Is it like brawly, I guess, but like in a different tense, maybe, or?
No, I don't think so. It's just
no
like
idea what that is.
like
Brolic.
BROL.
Oh, I see. I see.
Just brolic. Yeah.
I don't know.
Anyway, like it's not a Scotty pet. You can't tell it where to go.
Yes, you can.
So it's just fucking a big-ass Scotty pet.
It is a big Calder, yes. It works very much like Calder, is how I would say it.
All right.
So she drops it down, and then she goes, I want you to attack this guy. Specifically, she can target it again. She can also recall it back to her. Again, the 3 allows it to pulse out for extra damage around the area. You can still use the 1 while he's here.
Yeah.
And a speed boost for Argus. So even though Argus is punching you, he can also punch other places.
He can't get slowed.
Right. I think he can be stunned.
He can be stunned.
But he cannot be hit by, I think, be stun rooted and no other CCs affect him, I think, is how it is. Yes.
So, I mean,
he also has a nice auto attack chain if he can get them autos off.
this entire character is dependent on how sick Argus is.
Yes.
If he's gonna do, then this is a good character. If he's gonna walk into walls and fall asleep during matches, then I don't really know how effective he's gonna be.
So Argus is on a 70-second cooldown, right? You deal damage to decrease his cooldown. You build all the cooldown.
He'll be up very often.
He will be out a lot, is what I think. I think that you need to. I initially thought you had to be kind of cautious in how you use Argus because she's so reliant. I think it's the literal exact opposite. You need to be liberal.
Yeah.
Have Argus out all the time.
Yeah, I think you need to just let the rock guy go.
Why'd you put an F in chat?
What?
Did you do that? You put an F in chat. How'd you do that? Thom, are you a magician? I don't know. That's not the show, but certainly there's something that's going to be happening. 70 seconds and
How'd I
introduced by
put an
passive.
F
Yeah,
in chat?
that's what I'm saying. Cliz is also doing it. Thanks, Cliz.
No, he put an F dot.
Oh, F dot. Okay.
Usually it's F bot.
Not accounting for CDR. Yes. She will be absolutely dropping down that ultimate all the time. So I think that there's a chance for Hera to be strong. I've messed up the chat window somehow. Oh, there it is. It's back. We're back again.
Oh, look, it's on again.
What is that Jameson? Are you doing that? Who's doing that? Oh,
I'm doing it myself.
Thom, show your hands to chat. Who's doing this?
I'm doing it with my mind.
I actually don't know how this is happening. I'm not trolling.
I'm telling you, I'm doing it with my
All
mind.
right, so I'll give my final thoughts on Hera. I'll ask for yours. I think that Hera is going to be very reliant on Argus. I don't know how worried I am about Hera as a mage by herself, and I think that she is definitely punishable.
Argus is going to be the Agni dash. When homie doesn't have Argus available, you jump her. When she does, you run.
That's it. Get away from her. Get away from her. I think she'll be strong. Again, you won't be seeing her at DreamHack though, so don't worry about there. Do you want to give any thoughts on SML, those top 3 teams, like the round robin, anything like that? Man, how the show looks way better now.
I'm like TV head.
I don't know about that.
It's like my head's a TV. I'm a TV head.
Do you have any thoughts on round robin SML? Who do you think is coming out of each region? Do you want to see teams?
I respect this. Let's say Sanguine North America.
What?
And Insignum EU, because the Poppies are destined to never win anything at all. I am more interested in the conversation that Johnny's not playing.
Yeah.
It's
a major bummer.
I am very mad. Optimus Gang was, and it's funny because I said this online, and those fucking dudes thought I was kidding. I very seriously have been an Optimus Gang fan for the run of the show. Just those guys are really solid to watch. I really liked Farrakrick. I really liked Sibby. I love Johnny. And I think that Johnny, I called him a new adapting. And I meant that.
Sure.
I really thought that they were easily the most fun team to watch in the minor league. They were arguably one of the strongest teams. And I think that they just had a bunch of talent and they really could have done it. I am very upset that we won't get to see Optimus Gang with Johnny. And I have 0 to less than that faith in Get Fisher. And on top of that, I'm upset that he's just not Johnny. I just want to see Johnny.
No, me too. I definitely don't romanticize them to your extent, but they're much better with Johnny. And he's the kind of player that is my favorite type, which is that he plays with his hand face up. And is just better than you. Yeah. And I'm a big fan of that. Like, You, like the guy who calls his shot before he hits, he's like, it's out of the park this way.
Give me a hyper carry, and I'm going to push my fist down your throat.
Yeah, I'm
like
gonna-
that's what he does.
Yeah, I'm gonna be better than you.
Yeah.
And I very much like that. It is Git Fisher that's gonna be in that slot instead. And while I do think that Git Fisher has been serviceable, it very much reminds me of Sam for Soccer on Trifecta, right? You are losing a win condition and gaining someone who can do the job.
He reminds me of Sam for Soccer on Eager, where you're losing a win condition and gaining a hole in the foot.
I don't think that Git Fisher hurts this team a lot. There have definitely been some drops. I think that is fair to say, but I don't think that he hurts them. He doesn't hurt them any more than putting anyone in there would. Losing Johnny is what hurts, I think.
Yes.
If you think it's going to be Sanguine and Insignum, you're an absolute lunatic. It will be very nice to me in Insignum.
I think Sanguine
Don't
is-
ever say my goddamn name again.
I think Sanguine's the better team.
I think Sanguine looks good right now.
I think Sanguine's the better
And
team.
very nice to me have had a bunch of roster changes and beaten everyone that's ever stepped up to them. And to be honest, it hadn't looked particularly close.
I don't think I've been too forward about this. I have the hugest faith in Sheikah.
Why?
I think Sheikah is that dude.
Okay.
I think Sheikah is that dude.
He didn't full on quit. He just isn't going to be able to make it to the matches, is our understanding.
No, I know that. And
No, I'm answering chat, sorry.
And, like-
Rhino is saying that he quit. I'm saying I don't think he quit.
yeah, Johnny just can't make it to the matches.
Yeah.
And like,
I honestly do think Johnny could replace Fields. I do think.
yes, like hardcore.
Or Lasbro. I think either one of them would probably.
I 100% agree. I think that Johnny is by no means. So I called him a young adapting. I'm not implying that he's there yet. I'm saying that he's on the path, and it's a similar play style to what adapting had when he was playing with Panthera back in the day. I'm very upset. I really wish that we would get to see Optimus Gang with Johnny kind of do their thing.
Well, let's close on this. I have phone addiction. I don't check my phone that much. Let's close on this. Who are your dark horses at placement stage? Someone that is not a favorite that you think could go in and make top 4. Not just do well, but make top 4.
Nocturnes?
Yes, that's a good one. That was mine. I have to think of a new one now.
Nocturnes and...
You don't get to say multiple. Make a case for Nocturnes and give me someone to talk about, you goddamn asshole.
I think that Nocturnes are... Nocturnes are... So first of all, Nocturnes are just a LATAM team versus Luminosity. They're going to beat Luminosity. I think that they have a shot to beat Obey. And if they beat Obey, then they're going directly to the semifinals. I don't think Trifecta, minor league team, Mouse Sports, or Gomo can beat Nocturnes.
I think that you're right. I think Nocturnes have a chance to do very well. I'm going to say CLG. And,
Fuck you!
And I know I gave them a hard time earlier on, but I think that amongst the teams that aren't favored, they're the best. I think maybe even better than Nocturnes. I think I give Nocturnes a ton of credit. I'm
You
slurping them
can
just
have
like
Nocturnes.
you. Okay, can I?
Yeah.
You took them from me for some
You
goddamn
fucking
reason.
talk
Let's
Nocturnes.
switch then, please. Yes, I
Talk
want to
about
slurp
Nocturnes.
goddamn fucking Nocturnes. Every
Do it,
land,
do it, do
every
it.
land they come in and they goddamn frag out and they get better and better. And you know what I love the most about them is that guys have a great attitude. And I don't mean that they come in and they like slurp high res or anything.
yeah.
What I mean is that they every time I talk to them, they go, "Yeah, we just need to play better." Like we need to practice. more. We need to
I'm
play."
down.
And they're right. They just need to play a little bit better, and they're fucking there, man. They really are. They've
Yeah.
never played a team as bad as the teams they're going to get to play here.
Very true.
They've only played really good teams.
Yep.
Like this
Yep.
is they're Rock Lee taking the weights off.
Yeah.
I'm very excited.
I think this is... Nocturnes are going to put on a show.
Yes.
They're going to put on a fucking show. I hope No Ping does the same because I think Black Dragon's going to put on a show. And I am concerned that No Ping won't. But I think that Black Dragons would have put on the same sort of show. So Nocturnes, and then I like I said, CLG. I kind of made my case before. I think that Mask is really that guy.
Sure.
I think Mask is fucking scary. I think Mask can elevate a team and really change the whole look of the squad.
Oh, Cliz.
And so I think that Mask can elevate CLG. I will be able to tell you after one game if CLG are
I think I get what you're saying.
are there or not. There is a 100% chance that we see a different CLG than we've seen during the regular season at LAN.
Yes,
we
and I
are
think
not going to see the same CLG.
It's a long tournament. So the reason I want to put some nuance on it is I 100% get your point, but it's a long tournament. Even if maybe they don't look great day one, I think there's a chance they could
Sure.
improve throughout that tournament. It's a long one, but I get what you're saying.
It's
an eye test. For
It's
sure.
a finger in the soup.
Yeah.
That's all it is, and I'll be able to tell if they're on it or not.
Okay, so you'll be able to tell if they already are, and they still have a chance, even if they aren't right away.
Yes.
But I think I'm right there with you. But that should close it out here for us. Thom, good job today, man. Fucking sick show. Let's gas ourselves up a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Fucking nuts. Jameson doing his goddamn best over there. You know, it has looked all right, but I appreciate you coming in. They had a rough time. Thank you everybody else for watching. Again, I'll put this up on YouTube. My YouTube channel is Finch. If you want to follow me there, do it. Twitch, do it. Twitter, I'm Hi-Res Finch. Just so you know when this stuff is happening. Thom, please, your shameless plugs.
For sure. Make sure to go to highresexpo.com, grab your tickets to DreamHack. You're not going to want to miss it. Pick up tickets before the 16th. You can get yourself in the door as far as hotel discounts and everything. Shout out to Finch. Shout out to Tully for covering everything last week.
Absolutely. Great job, Tully.
Shout out to Mallory for bringing me my sub. And shout out to Jameson on the ones and twos. We appreciate it.
Also, I decided for anyone out there that was following along with my starter discussion for Pokemon Diamond Pearl, I will be going with Chimchar. I will post later so that you'll know
What
that I'm
about
telling the
Piplup?
truth. Piplup, I really want to, and I tried to get them to convince me to do it, but I think it just is the wrong choice. There's other good water types. Either way, that's going to do us. Thank you one more time for joining us. We'll be back here, I don't know, next Saturday. We'll probably wait until we get closer to placements, I would say, right? We don't.
Nah.
Well, what's there to talk about next Saturday?
We'll figure it out.
No, there's nothing to talk about.
Send us shit to talk about because I want to do the show.
Well, let's do it. What if we zoom out next week and we don't have to talk? We can talk about more stuff just in general. What do you
That's a
think?
good plan.
Yeah, we'll try that. You're gonna work on come up with some topics for us, and we'll see y'all next week. We'll have a show then as well. Again, thanks for joining us. Have a good rest of your Saturday.